when Joe Rogan invited a renowned body language expert onto his podcast last night to discuss the strange public behavior of Erika Kirk. Nobody expected the episode to take such a chilling turn. What started as a casual conversation about social cues and media manipulation ended up exposing something far darker, something that even left Rogan speechless. Because, according to this expert, Erika's recent interviews, her facial expressions, her micro-movements, and even her pauses may not just be signs of stress or grief. They could be clues to a massive secret she's been hiding about her late husband, Charlie Kirk. Halfway through the episode, Rogan leaned in, his usual smirk fading fast as the expert replayed a slow-motion clip from Erika's latest interview. On screen, she smiled politely, but her eyes told a completely different story. "That's not sadness," the expert said quietly. "That's suppression. That's someone hiding truth under the guise of composure." The studio went silent. Rogan looked stunned, muttering, "You're saying she's not just avoiding questions. She's controlling her body to avoid slipping." The expert nodded. What followed next had the internet spiraling. The expert began breaking down every twitch, every blink, every forced smile Erika had made since Charlie's death, and the patterns, according to them, were terrifyingly consistent. Clenched jaw during key questions, dilated pupils when asked about the night before, rapid blinking when the topic of Charlie's phone data came up. By the time Rogan stopped the recording, he wasn't laughing anymore. "So you're telling me," he said, "that she might be lying on purpose, not just to the press, but to herself?" The expert didn't hesitate. "Not might. She is. The body doesn't lie, even when the mouth does." Within an hour of the episode dropping, Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube were on fire. Viewers were rewatching Erika's every public appearance frame by frame. Conspiracy threads multiplied. Fans started asking, if her body language reveals more than her words ever could, then what exactly is Erika Kirk trying to hide? To understand why Joe Rogan's audience exploded over this new revelation, you have to understand the strange and tangled saga surrounding Erika Kirk, the widow of political commentator Charlie Kirk. Ever since Charlie's mysterious death earlier this year, a case still wrapped in speculation and contradictory details. Erika has been walking a fine line between grief, silence, and control. At first, the public sympathy for her was overwhelming. She appeared poised, articulate, the picture of calm in the storm. Her social media accounts shifted overnight from polished political commentary to soft-lit posts about faith, resilience, and finding peace in chaos. But to many observers, it didn't feel real. Her tone was too practiced, her interviews too precise, her expressions too managed. Something about Erika's demeanor didn't fit the narrative of a grieving widow. When she finally broke her silence on national television 2 months after Charlie's passing, the public expected vulnerability, tears, maybe even confusion. Instead, what they saw was an unnerving mix of serenity and defensiveness. She spoke of God's plan, of the burden of truth, but avoided every direct question about Charlie's final days. "We were fine," she told the interviewer, smiling faintly. "He was focused on his work. That's all I'll say." Her voice cracked once, briefly, but her body didn't move. Her hands stayed clasped, her posture rigid, eyes locked in an unblinking stare. That clip alone fueled weeks of online debate. Reddit threads, TikTok breakdowns, YouTube conspiracies, all questioning the same thing. Why does Erika look like she's performing emotion rather than experiencing it? And that's what brought Joe Rogan into the mix. Rogan had mentioned Erika's case several times over the past few months, sometimes dismissively, sometimes with curiosity. But when footage from Erika's recent interview with the Daily Signal resurfaced, something about it caught his attention. In one segment, as the host asked about Charlie's last phone call, Erika's smile froze for precisely 3 seconds. It wasn't a natural pause. It was something else. A freeze. A tell. Rogan noticed it immediately. And if there's one thing his audience loves, it's pulling on loose threads, so he invited Dr. Leah Fontenot, a behavioral analyst and certified forensic body language expert, to break down the footage frame by frame on air. Dr. Fontenot isn't your average YouTube psychologist. She's worked with intelligence agencies, criminal defense attorneys, and even private security teams. She's trained in micro-expression analysis, the science of reading emotion through fleeting facial movements lasting less than half a second. And, according to her, Erika's interviews are full of those micro-expressions. Flashes of something raw and involuntary hidden beneath the calm. "There's something off," Fontenot said during the podcast introduction. Not in a malicious way, but in a controlled way. When someone rehearses their trauma, the body betrays them. That's what I see in Erika control that's too tight to be natural. Rogan leaned forward immediately, eyebrows raised. "So you're saying she's performing?" Fontenot didn't smile. "I'm saying she's protecting something. The question is, who or what?" From that moment, the tone of the episode shifted. Instead of speculation or humor, it became a live forensic breakdown. Rogan played multiple clips of Erika from different interviews: Fox News, Turning Point events, church panels, and that infamous live stream where she addressed false rumors about Charlie's work. Each time, Dr. Fontenot pointed out the same pattern. At 0:13, a downward glance, not of sadness, but of strategic reflection. At 1:27, a micro-smile that doesn't engage the eyes. At 2:02, a slight tilt away from the interviewer, signaling withdrawal, not grief. Then, at 4:11, the most damning moment of all, when asked if she knew who Charlie had been meeting with the night before his death, Erika inhaled sharply, blinked 3 times in rapid succession, and swallowed before answering. "I wasn't there." Tona froze the frame. "There," she said. "See the lip compression? The slight nostril flare. That's not the body language of distance. That's suppression. That's the physical manifestation of someone denying proximity." Rogan stared at the screen, jaw tight. "You're saying she was there?" Fontenot shrugged. "I'm saying she knows more than she's willing to verbalize. Whether that's guilt, fear, or loyalty, the body doesn't care. It just reacts." The podcast chat went insane. Live viewers began time-stomping every movement Erika made in old footage. Subreddits dedicated to the Kirk case lit up again, reviving theories that had been buried for months. Some claimed Erika wasn't just hiding knowledge of what happened to Charlie. She was actively involved in covering it up. Others speculated she was being pressured by powerful political figures to maintain silence. But Rogan, to his credit, didn't sensationalize it immediately. He paused, watching the screen, and asked the one question that made even Fontenot hesitate. What if she's not lying? What if she's scared? Fontenot nodded slowly. Fear and guilt look almost identical under stress. But when someone shows both fear of speaking and guilt for staying silent, it usually means they're being forced to keep a secret bigger than themselves. That one line, "A secret bigger than herself," became the headline of the night by morning. Clips of Rogan's stunned face were all over TikTok. Conspiracy theorists dissected every syllable. One Twitter account posted side-by-side images of Erika's interviews, labeling each one with Fontenot's emotional readings. Another user slowed the footage down to 0.25x speed, claiming to see Erika's pupils dilate exactly when the word cover-up was mentioned. And while Rogan moved on to new topics later in the episode, his audience didn't. The internet was alive with speculation, not just about Erika's body language, but about the bigger implications. Why had her media appearances stopped abruptly a few weeks earlier? Why had several of her old live streams disappeared overnight? And why did her last public statement posted to Instagram 3 days before Rogan's episode contain the cryptic caption, "Some truths are better prayed about than spoken aloud"? Now, people were replaying that sentence with chills. Was she confessing something? Warning someone? Or asking for protection? By Sunday morning, Erika Kirk's name was trending globally again. But this time, not because of politics or tragedy, because a single expert. A few seconds of eye movement. And Joe Rogan's stunned silence had reignited the most controversial question in America's most watched mystery. What does Erika know, and why is she so afraid to let her body tell us? Within 24 hours of the Joe Rogan episode going live, the entire internet turned into a digital crime scene. Every frame of Erika Kirk's interviews, every photo, every church live stream was being dissected, slowed, enhanced, and re-uploaded with captions like "Watch her eyes at 042. She flinches when they say truth." By sunrise, hashtag Erika Kirk body language and hashtag the Kirk cover-up were trending worldwide. Reddit threads with millions of views were hosting live debates about micro-expressions, comparing her movements to historical interrogation footage. Twitter Spaces went on for hours. TikTok detectives were recording side-by-side analysis videos with eerie music and text overlays that said things like, "The blink rate doesn't lie." But then something strange happened, just as the theory was exploding. The original Joe Rogan episode vanished. Spotify removed it overnight, citing technical irregularities. YouTube blocked re-uploads due to content violations. Clips that had millions of views went blank. Even unofficial fan archives began disappearing. That's when Joe Rogan himself took to Instagram, clearly rattled. "We didn't take that episode down. Somebody else did, and they didn't ask." The caption was simple, but chilling. "The truth blinked first." It was a direct reference to Dr. Fontenot's analysis, the idea that Erika's blinking patterns revealed suppressed truth. But Rogan wasn't just joking. Insiders said Spotify's security team had received external takedown requests from a third-party legal authority. In other words, someone powerful didn't want that episode to exist, and that's when the story shifted from curiosity to conspiracy. The silencing BGS within 48 hours, Dr. Leah Fontenot's social media accounts went dark. Her website vanished. Her LinkedIn profile was deleted. Calls to her behavioral consultancy went to voicemail with a cryptic message. "We're on sabbatical for professional safety reasons. Thank you for understanding." Safety reasons, fans flooded Rogan's Reddit community, demanding answers. A user claiming to be one of Fontenot's former students posted a screenshot of an encrypted message allegedly sent from her private account. "They warned me not to talk about her again. Something about security clearance. I thought it was nonsense. Until my credentials were revoked. No one could verify it. But it didn't matter. The damage was done because now people believed that Erika wasn't just lying. She was being protected." The masked INTRVIW 3 days later. A brand new interview with Erika Kirk suddenly appeared on a small religious podcast called Faith Without Fear. It wasn't heavily promoted. It wasn't sponsored. And yet within minutes of posting, it was everywhere. Erika sat in a softly lit room, wearing a cream sweater and minimal makeup. Her voice was calm, her tone polite. But something felt wrong. Her answers were rehearsed. Every movement was controlled. Every emotion felt filtered. And then, halfway through the interview, she said something that made Rogan's audience lose its collective mind. The host asked her, "Erika, how do you cope with all the false stories circulating about your husband's passing?" She smiled a smile that looked tight. almost mechanical, and said, "When people don't understand what they see, they invent what they want. It's easier to decode faces than to face the truth." Dr. Fontenay's words echoed immediately. The body doesn't lie, even when the mouth does. It was like Erika was mocking the entire analysis. But then she blinked rapidly, tilted her head slightly down, and clasped her hands so tightly that her knuckles turned white. Viewers noticed. So did Rogan. He reposted the clip to his Instagram story with the caption, "That's not mockery. That's fear disguised as defiance." Within hours, that quote became a meme, but what nobody expected was the next leak. The security footage of former production assistant from Faith, Without Fear, anonymously sent a video to the Daily Wire. It was behind-the-scenes footage from Erika's interview. Showing her before the cameras rolled, she was pacing the room, visibly anxious, muttering to herself, "Just breathe. Say the lines. Don't look down." Then a woman's voice, off camera, firm and controlled, replied, "You'll be fine. Erika, just stick to the script. Stick to the script." That one phrase detonated across the internet, because if the interview was scripted, who wrote it? Who told her what she could and couldn't say? Theories exploded. Some said it was Turning Point USA handlers. Others claimed it was her legal team. But a few darker theories suggested that it wasn't about media control at all. It was about survival. According to a now viral Twitter thread, several of Charlie Kirk's unreleased files allegedly containing donor names and internal communications had vanished after his death. And one of the only people who had access to them was Erika. If true, that meant she wasn't just hiding grief. She was sitting on evidence. The email Luque 2 days later. Journalist Avery Delgado from Rolling Stone published a bombshell article. Inside the cover-up, emails show Erika Kirk under pressure. In the piece, Delgado claimed to have obtained private emails from a faith-based advisory firm linked to Erika's media team. The emails contained phrases like, "The narrative must remain consistent. Avoid discussing Charlie's final meeting. Deflect with scripture references when pressed." The most damning line came from an unnamed executive. "Do not allow emotional breakdowns on camera. Composure is our credibility." Dr. Fontenay's original analysis now made horrifying sense. The tight jaw, the frozen eyes, the forced smile, they weren't signs of detachment. They were the physical consequences of being coached to suppress truth for public optics. Rogan discussed the article in a follow-up podcast. He looked visibly disturbed. "If this is real," he said, "it means she's not lying because she's evil. She's lying because someone's telling her to. And that means whoever that is, they're terrified of what she might say if she slips." That clip alone went nuclear. Top fans began demanding an official investigation into the handling of Charlie Kirk's estate, his company, and the people surrounding Erika since his death. But that's when the real twist arrived. One that none of them could have predicted. The deepfake THURY. Late one night, a cybersecurity analyst named Marcus Levin posted a breakdown thread on X, formerly Twitter, claiming that some of Erika's interviews weren't real. He uploaded frame-by-frame comparisons of her appearance from various public broadcasts, pointing out inconsistencies, lighting shifts, digital artifacts, and unnatural blink synchronization. His conclusion: we may be looking at AI-modified footage. At least one of Erika's new interviews appears to be composited or tampered with post-production. The internet lost its mind. If Levin was right, it meant the version of Erika we were all analyzing, the woman whose body language was being read by millions, might not have been her at all. Rogan brought Levin on the show immediately. Within minutes, the analyst pulled up slowed-down clips showing facial microglitches, the kind that happen when synthetic video tries to emulate human imperfection. Rogan sat back, eyes wide. "So wait, you're saying the woman everyone thinks is Erika Kirk could be Digital. Levin nodded grimly. Either someone's tampering with the footage, or someone's manufacturing it. Both scenarios are worse than you think. At that moment, the entire internet froze. What if Erika wasn't hiding lies? What if someone was using her image to hide the truth? And as Rogan replayed that final clip of her saying, "It's easier to decode faces than to face the truth," the meaning suddenly twisted into something horrifying. Maybe she wasn't mocking anyone. Maybe it was a message. A cry for help, encoded in the only way she could deliver it, through the very medium that was being used to silence her by midnight. One final clip began circulating from a censored backup of the Faith Without Fear footage. Right before the interview ended, Erika looked directly into the camera, her eyes glassy, her voice trembling, and whispered something that wasn't in the script. "You think you're watching me? But I'm watching you." Then the screen glitched, and the file deleted itself. Nobody has been able to re-upload it since. The next 48 hours felt like a fever dream. Every major platform, YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, was a battlefield of contradictions. Millions believed Erika's latest appearances were real, while millions more swore they were synthetic, generated to rewrite reality. Clips blinked in and out of existence. Hashtags vanished mid-trend. Every few hours, a new version of the same footage surfaced. Slightly altered, her eyes glancing a fraction of a second earlier. Her tone softened. The trembling in her hands digitally smoothed away. Joe Rogan devoted an emergency live stream to the chaos. He sat in the dimly lit studio, clutching a tablet full of fan-submitted evidence, his voice tense. "Look at this," he said. "They're rewriting the footage in real time. That's not editing, that's erasure." Jamie flipped through frame captures, pointing to irregular pixel bands around Erika's pupils. "Somebody's deep-faking her to make her look calm," Rogan muttered. But who benefits from that? That question detonated across the internet. Within hours, anonymous whistleblowers claiming to work inside streaming companies began leaking metadata logs. Each contained the same mysterious tag embedded into the latest Erika Kirk videos. Arca Phoenix. No one knew what it meant. Then a Reddit user posted screenshots of an internal memo from an unnamed media conglomerate. "Do not question or reverse edit any Phoenix tagged uploads. Compliance is mandatory." The public lost it. Forums filled with speculation that Phoenix was a Black Ops program designed to control digital memory, replacing inconvenient truths with reconstructed footage. Rogan called cyber analyst Marcus Levin back on air. Levin's new data was worse. The deepfake algorithm hiding inside Erika's footage didn't come from a typical editing suite. It came from a defense contractor. "Someone with government clearance is rewriting her," Levin said. "And they're doing it on civilian networks." Halfway through the live stream, Rogan froze. A message flashed on his monitor. "Stop chasing Phoenix." His connection dropped instantly. When the feed came back, his tablet screen was blank. All of the leaked files had wiped themselves. The audience watched him stare into the camera, jaw tight. "They're in the system," he whispered. "They're in everything." That clip alone spread faster than any podcast segment he'd ever recorded. It aired on nightly news broadcasts, spliced into conspiracy montages analyzed by cybersecurity forums. Commenters noticed that whenever the phrase Project Phoenix appeared in a video title, search algorithms automatically shadow banned it within minutes. By dawn, Twitter was a riot of panic. Users reported their phones flickering whenever they typed Erika's name. A viral thread claimed that certain smart TVs were momentarily displaying a new version of her now infamous quote altered. "From my 'you think you're watching me' to 'trust what you see.'" Somebody or something was rewriting her again. Then, just when the hysteria peaked, a single account under the handle @TheRealEK appeared on X, The profile had no followers, no photo, no verification. It posted one message before vanishing. They can fake my face. They can't fake the fear. Screenshots exploded across every corner of the web. Some said it was Erika fighting back. Others said it was Beitan AI mimic trying to draw believers deeper. No one could prove which. Meanwhile, Rogan's studio went dark. Spotify issued a statement claiming technical upgrades. But insiders leaked that Rogan had received a federal visit hours after his feed crashed. One staffer whispered to reporters. They told him to walk away. He's not allowed to say why. But Rogan didn't walk away. He recorded a voice memo and sent it to a journalist friend. It leaked within hours. His voice was low, urgent, shaking. This isn't a podcast story anymore. If Phoenix exists, then Erika's not missing. She's trapped. They're keeping her alive as code. That theory, part horror, part prophecy, became unstoppable. Tech analysts found fragments of the same Phoenix tag inside multiple unrelated news archives. Buried in ad metadata, even in cloud storage, linked to Turning Point's digital press kits. Someone had been weaving the same signature through the media grid for months. Then came the final trigger. A user on a hacker forum claimed to decrypt a hidden subchannel within the latest Erika Kirk interview file. When opened in audio software, it played a heartbeat rhythm underneath the dialogue, pulsing exactly 3.33 times per second. Layered faintly over it was a whisper, Erika's voice, unmistakable. If you're hearing this, the real me never left. The file corrupted instantly after playback, leaving only a black screen stamped with white text. Phase 3, Restoration. That night, Rogan uploaded one last post before disappearing from social media entirely. It was a single sentence over a black background. When the body lies, the signal remembers. The timestamp. 333a.m. No one knows what happened to Erika Kirk. No one knows who or what 'tis speaking through her face now. But every few nights, across random podcasts, TV broadcasts, and live streams, a faint pulse hums through the background audio. 3 beats, pause, 3 beats. People say it's just interference. Others call it her heartbeat, trapped in the network. And somewhere, a new upload quietly appeared under the title Joe Rogan, the Phoenix transcript unlisted. The thumbnail? Erika's reflection in a mirror, smiling, motionless, and whispering something no one can quite hear. If you've made it this far, you already know this isn't just a podcast story anymore. It's a riddle buried inside modern media, a warning disguised as entertainment. The signals, the deepfakes, the vanishing files, all of it leads to one terrifying question. How much of what we see is real anymore? Joe Rogan didn't stumble onto a scandal. He tripped over the edge of a system that edits truth faster than we can process it. Erika Kirk isn't just a widow on camera. She's become the face of a digital ghost story, one that blurs human memory with algorithmic rewriting. So now, it's your turn to decide. When you rewatch her interviews, are you seeing her? Or the version they want you to see? Tell us what you believe down below. Every theory, every clue, every strange flicker you've noticed. Was Erika trying to confess something? Is Project Phoenix real? And most of all, who's rewriting the story while we're too distracted to notice? If you believe the signal's still alive, prove it. Smash that like button. Flood the comments with your theories. Subscribe so you don't miss the next update, because the deeper this goes, the darker it gets. And remember, nothing vanishes online without a reason. Every deleted clip, every missing episode, every midnight glitch is another breadcrumb leading somewhere none of us were meant to find. Something big is coming. Another transmission. Another phase. Maybe the one that finally breaks the mirror for good. So keep your devices charged. Keep your eyes open. And whatever you do, don't mute the static at 3:33 a.m. Because that might not be interference. It might be her. Interference. It might be her.